Hey everyone, this is Odeco, and today I'm looking at the Pathologic 3 demo. This is something that kind of dropped, at least out of nowhere for me. Maybe there were hints that something like this was coming, but I've been following this game for quite a while, and I did not realize we were right on the cusp of getting a little preview of it. It's something I've been following the news of, but I thought maybe we were still more than a year away, or I'm not sure. But yeah, this just dropped the other day, and I'm excited to check it out. This is just I think they said it's a demo or a preview or just an introduction to the game. It's not the full game, but it's free on Steam. So I'm excited to take a look at it. Let's jump in here. I've looked at nothing about it. I haven't looked at any videos. I just saw that it came out and I immediately went and downloaded it. The Capital, where the Bachelor returned. Oh, I didn't read it. Hold Q to see what's worthy of your attention. So Q. Got a little Batman Detective Vision here. Is that still a reference that makes sense? Okay, so if you hold Q, you get thoughts, it looks like. Can't remember the name nor the face. Whose reflection are you? They are human too. Yeah, so the Pathologic games, they're games that I've been fascinated by. Since the first one's out and seeing people play that one, I will admit that I get stressed out by normal survival games. So the fact that Pathologic 1 and 2 were these like ultra super hard, super stressful survival games, I actually have not completed them. I have tried to play both of them, and then I've watched full playthroughs of both of them. And I there was a little bit of relief in my heart when I found out that Pathologic 3 was not going to be a survival game any longer. So I'm very excited about this game. Checking it out, seems like a little more of an adventure game, and then maybe I'll get so sucked into this one I'll have to return to 1 and 2 and actually play them for myself. But let's actually jump into it here. Someone died here. There's nothing here. A fellow of infinite jest, most excellent fancy. Little Hamlet reference, I believe. Hamlet or Macbeth? One of the two. What are we?
We'll go to any length, Chief, but our lengths are longer.
Seraphima. Why aren't you at the interrogation yet, Bachelor? You're supposed to be there already. Yeah, so when you talk to people, this was also Pathologic 2 at least. They have voice acting, but like their voice acting is more kind of a tone setter. It doesn't actually line up with what the character is actually saying. So we're supposed to be in an interrogation, apparently. We're playing as the Bachelor in Pathologic 3. Daniil Dankovsky. What happened? Why did you come down here? What's going on outside? What are you looking at? They told me it's not an interrogation, actually. They just want to talk. I'm a witness, not a suspect for now. I probably won't read every option of every choice, but I do want to know what they're looking at.
Yes. God's skin. Covered in skin. That's what they are. People.
Hang on, Chief. Did they summon you because of the Thanatica? Will the order to shut down the library be revoked? Postponed? So seems like we have some choice in like how the story is playing out. Like we get to decide what happened in the past, maybe. Okay, so that's interesting. In the past game, our character was, or yeah, in Pathologic 1, our character was involved in a plague out in a steppe town. And so this is what it's referring to here. So you're that doctor who first discovered this deadly epidemic, this dirt disease. Is it true that killed off a whole steppe town in a week? 25,000 dead? Listen to me. All of this is just hearsay. Please leave our director alone. He has important work to do, and you, Chief, should hurry off now. Your appointment is at 8. No one answered my question about what they were looking at the window, by the way. No, answer me this. Since you're the one in charge, is it true or not? You said this disease was already in the capital. I never said that. I said they believe the epidemic might have spread here. All right, I do want to know what they're looking at. Oh my gosh. Holy shit. Alright, maybe we shouldn't be staring at this and not moving. Very Prometheus. The giant object slowly rolling towards us and everybody just looking at it, not getting out of the way. Oh. Did we immediately get a crash? You try and launch it again. I don't know what. Didn't even get like a crash message or anything. Weird. Or did we die? Okay, was that a bad end? in the game, I don't know. I don't know what happened there. Either we died and that was a bad end, or it crashed and we didn't get a message. Out of score, back's turn, out of fear. So this is...
I'll follow you through hell, but not high water. If it gets to high water, that's on you.
Alright, I'm gonna pick different options. They told me it's not an investigation. No, they're not revoking it. Thanatica is no more. Why aren't you in quarantine? Especially if you're coming straight from the epicenter of such a disease. So maybe this is immediately after we returned from the town that was the events of Pathologic 1 and 2. Pathologic 1, our character was involved. Pathologic 2, we played as a different character during the same events. Slightly more complicated than that. Why aren't you? My quarantine is already over. Yeah, that is true. Either you have the disease or you don't, as far as what we saw in the first game. So you're that doctor who first discovered this deadly epidemic. Okay, we already get rid of that. I never said that. I said they believe the epidemic might have already spread here. That's what I said. And bureaucrats are usually wrong. All right, if the game crashes again here. I'm running. There we go. Okay, that must have just been a crash. In which the bachelor says farewell to hopes and tries to flee the doomed step town. Okay, so now we're back in the step town. Oh, okay, so that's a day 8. Maybe I missed what day we were on in that first scene, but that must have been maybe day 15, day 16, something like that. Because the first game was, I believe, over the course of 2 weeks, or maybe it was 12 days. I'm not sure. Let's talk. You can go no further. Quarantine. Enough calling. It is I who set up the quarantine in the first place. I didn't recognize you at first glance. You've changed quite a bit after a week in our town. I'm Sava Kremnitz, number 72, the last of the volunteer orderly corps. Since you're here, consider this my resignation. The last volunteer, the last post, the last frontier, how quickly it all came to an end. You promised to save our town, but all you leave behind are ashes and graves. What lies ahead of you is not the steppe, but fog of uncertainty. So where will you go now, oh man lost to death? That's a little unfair. I mean, it was a plague that wiped out the town. He's like blaming me for it. What a way to talk to me, 72. Grow too fond of your mask, abide by protocol, and stop with the implications. I don't know. He's allowed to be a little bad, I guess. This is kind of what I was saying. The town is lost. I admit I'm not omnipotent, but I've tried. People whisper rumors that the only doctor in town plans to abandon them, to flee. The most fortunate, the survivors, already planned their own escapes. Could they be saved? I guess it is. Either I need to stay with them in the quarantine, or if I think I'm safe to leave, I should take the other people with them. Okay, yeah, I do think it makes sense because like I said, this disease is so fast that you could hypothetically quarantine, like take people out of this town, quarantine them again, and then continue on to the capital. Each decision leads to regret the next day. Each step the abyss. How can no one sleep after that? Or how can one sleep after that? Vita somnium brev. Like that one. Nightmares multiply in darkness. It's their nutrient medium, just like blood for a plague. We've just gone to speaking poetry at each other. I still have some matches on me. I'll find a way to fend off the darkness. The light of salvation burns and then fades, like hope, like someone's life on a hospital bed. Do you think you'll manage to escape? She already follows you, trying to reach you. She just won't let you leave. Who is she? The plague? You're a fool, Bachelor Dankovsky. Conscience. Of course it's conscience. You cannot run from your conscience, not even on a train. No, you'd be lucky to even board that train alive. In what form your conscience assumes, that is on you and your broken imagination. It does feel like we are just speaking poetics at each other at this time with the town is burning in the background. So I'm going to say no time to wax philosophical. Come back to where you came. Come back to where you came from, Doctor. Try to become your old self again. Just don't forget the matches. I don't know what this asterisk means. That maybe means end of conversation. Thank you, 72, if it's really you, for your volunteer service. You too did all you could. Chris cheated. Oh, that's cool. Can I like light that? Oh, there we go. Okay, so this is like a beast that presumably will get me if I get too far away from the fire. Scurrying around. That fire's already out. These don't last very long. Scurrying away. Lighthouse in the distance. Or a searchlight of some sort. I don't like that the first scene was an outbreak in the capital, and now these like supernatural beings are crawling on the train that presumably is going to take me back to the capital. Does not bode well. Even though Dankovsky was like, oh, the bureaucrats are wrong. They have no idea. They just think there's an outbreak. But I mean, there certainly could be. I'm going to be ill. The stench. Out, out. Okay, these are dead bodies. Oh, cool. The day before, which the bachelor leaves the capital to venture to the edge of the world. The day before, maybe that's probably the day before day one. So this is like day 0. That's what, not the day before that last scene. Butterflies, they feed on blood. Who's knocking? Calm down. What the heck? Okay, that door doesn't open. Fearless heart to see 3 weeks through. What happened to him afterwards? Okay. They keep knocking, beasts of burdens, talentless morons. Liquidation order isn't in yet. They have no right. So they're like trying to shut down the the laboratory we're in. This is so in the first couple games we heard about how library was on the verge of shutting down, but we didn't really have much info about it. My dear Bachelor Dankovsky, I was dismayed to this knocking is distracting. I was dismayed to learn that the powers that be intend to shut down the laboratory that earned its renown through your thanatology research. Is it true that they branded your word scientific extremism? Oh. Okay, this is kind of setting up that we are heading out to this step town to meet somebody who is allegedly immortal. All right, I'm going to talk to these people.
It's not love of living that drives us to overcome death.
Do you hear those peculiar footsteps on the stairs? Ominous footsteps. I think they're coming for us. If they catch you here, there's no telling what might happen. You could even be arrested.
What were you expecting? Huh?
So these are the same
Years, and I still can't
scientists
get
that were in
enough
that
of
first scene.
your idealism.
Shall I continue? The ruling goes on. Your Thanatica, the nation's only library specializing in novel life extension techniques, come across a pseudo-scientific wild goose chase, the so-called Effective Immortality Project. That gaggle of ossified dotards. We love a early to mid 20th century insults. I think it's set sometime around then. Oh, but there's more. Has, according to a number of scientists, including Voronier, Zegler, and Vilonovich, achieved scientific breakthroughs. We could skip this part. There. View of the academic castle, deeming it lack of any prospects whatsoever. The only rational course of action would be to suspend the research, transfer the laboratory to the purview of the Chemistry Institute, and dismiss its staff. I can recite it from memory now. Perhaps you could retell it in verse, Platon. It would calm you down and put things in a broader perspective. Why does it have to be now? We just got a cellular level reaction. You don't have a wife. Given the way you live, you never will. I'm married to my work. Actually, there's still hope, Bachelor. If we present them with that immortal man from the central step. What was his name? Shine? Ivan? Kane. Simon Kane. Simon Kane, as far as names go, maybe it's unusual because it's not Russian. Everyone else has a Russian name. But I was gonna say, as far as names go, Simon Kane's not that weird. He's not immortal, but his longevity is quite unique. If his letter is to be believed, just shy of a century and a half, and he's in great health. All right, so they're to go get out of here. Get out of this horrible room with all the banging constantly. We'll tell them you're away on a trip. For once, the red tape will play into our hands. We'll stall. Reports, audits, you name it. An appeal if all else fails. But if they find you, they'll convene and force us to testify, and we won't be able to wriggle out of it. I agree. If you leave before you're handed the ruling, it's their fault for missing you. But if you wait until afterwards, that's obstruction. They won't miss a chance to hold it against you. They'll use whatever pretense they can. They will anyway. Please, they're academics, not Okrana agents. I'm not abandoning my lab at a moment like this. Oh, for God's sakes. Clayton, shall we toss them out the window? That's it. They're here. Hear those voices? They must be deciding whose head is hard enough to batter down the door. Get out. The eastbound train departs at 4:15. You can make it. You can make it right on time. You two keep cool. Oh, wait, I'll see. Thank you. I will not let us down. Oh, wait. One last thing. Have a look at this while you're on your way. You've been promising to for 3 months already, but you never found the time. It's a tool for studying tuberculosis. The air humidity thing, remember? Kaufman, Gorski, Anastine. Right. How does it work? There's no time. Take the papers and read it with you. We have more pressing issues right now. Case in point, when is reports S-104 coming in? You know, the cytological. Is he trying to be funny or what? Get out, Chief. It does seem like I'm asking about paperwork, and they're constantly banging on the door. Use the back door and don't come back without your immortal. Good luck. Thank you. All right. Can we? Can we get out of this horrible banging room? He informed on us. Okay, so were we up to shady stuff? And that's why we're
You asked for it, you got it, Chief. You have too much of a spine.
Said he informed on us. I wonder what that's about. Wait, just one more thing. So we are no longer in a hurry? Oh, the banging's done. That's nice. Take care of yourself, Chief. You're so reckless. Head always in the clouds. You don't really know how to fend for yourself, do you? Do you even care about yourself? As if you're any different. Well, I'll be doomed without you. Come on, it'll be all right. Enough of this. Are you armed? This is a very Danielle Dankowski thing to say. Why, I'm armed with my vast intellect and quick wit. That'll get him. As long as I can open my mouth. Yeah, if the guards will run at me with knives and daggers, and I'll read them to death. Maybe I needed to learn Latin before I played this game. That's probably he who lives by the sword dies by the sword? Maybe? Yeah, that's probably it. I do like this one. Danielle, are you armed? She's so over it. She's like, no, I don't want to know about your insults. We've all heard them. Do you really believe the steppe is such wild company? Please, just take it with you. It'll come in handy. Best I can do at this point. Best I can do is point at someone, pretend it's loaded. Might not work on bears, though. Well, at least point it then. You can be very persuasive sometimes, Chief. Best of luck to you. All right. So it's not... Do we know it's not armed? Revolver. Don't want to become Death's henchman. But if anyone thinks they can bully me, demand more than they need, or trample on my dignity, they're wrong. Prototype. It was made when we were trying to fight the tuberculosis pathogens. In theory, it purifies the air of microorganisms with sound at a frequency beyond human perception, destroying their cell membranes. If only it could kill them inside the human body, the device would be priceless. Okay, interesting. So it's like a anti-airborne illness device. Uses sound waves. Okay. I could read this without the banging if I wanted, but I got the gist of it. How do I put away... Is there a way to check the controls? I just don't know if there's a... Draw holster gun is 2. Cool. I'll come back to light later, but that was the main thing I wanted to know. Nothing here. Bird skeleton of some sort. Dinosaur.
Freeze.
Oh, I already put it away. Sorry, bros. It's I like how it's like, oh, just try and get out. If they don't hand you the summons, they can't hold it against you. But it's like, oh, I just threatened them with a gun, so that's probably out the window. All these doors seem to be locked. There's a... It's all in Russian. Oh, here we go. I need to do better about holding this. We all learned to do this. Why'd you have to be the best student, you bastard? Closet for visual aids. Okay, so these probably is telling me what each of these doors are. Can't for the life of me remember what's behind here. They had no talent. They deserved it. Cool.
I'm Daniil Denkovsky, Bachelor of Medicine. My research into the limits of human life has brought me renown. I've devoted all my energy and remarkable intellect to combating the greatest fear that binds humanity, the inevitability of imminent death. Seeking proof of my theories, I traveled to a small, steep town to examine a person of phenomenal longevity, Simon Kane. But I walked into a trap. The moment I arrived there, an unknown disease struck the town. It devoured the town like a wildfire. Its contagion and lethality surpassed anything humanity had ever faced. And I became the only doctor standing in the way of this unprecedented pestilence.
Cool.
Reverence for hierarchy, idolatrous veneration, and other useful life skills.
Let's go back to your testimony, Bachelor Dankovsky. Testimony. So this is an interrogation. Okay, so that was before we left for the town, then had all our fun adventures in the steppe with, all the dead people. And now we're back, I guess, back in the capital and now being grilled about it. Testimony. So this is an interrogation, a preliminary investigation. Let's try to remain level-headed. The ministerial inspection of your lab, Thanatica, began in early September. Your presence was required at all times. Instead, you dashed off across the country to a backwater town to bring back what might be described as a person with unique longevity, or at least the results of his medical evaluation. Yes, this town had an outbreak of some fever the scientific community had no knowledge of. As luck would have it, you were the only medical professional at the site of the event. You were forced to remain there, since leaving was impossible. You led the effort to combat the epidemic and, evidently, took on some field research as well. Accurate so far? Well, not inaccurate. The devil's in the details. You seem to be setting up some trap. You did not succeed. A complete failure. It goes without saying that one would be foolish to fault a medical specialist in a situation like yours. That's what I'm saying. Everybody's blaming me. I'm like, come on. Not my fault the Black Plague 2 Electric Boogaloo started while I was in a small village. The remoteness, the lack of communication, the hostile environment, terrible conditions for scientific work. What doctor could have possibly succeeded in those? No one blames you. On the contrary, many stopped just short of saying I deliberately brought the infection to the capital. Perhaps I should have walled myself in with a lab report pinned to my corpse. On the contrary. Okay, so here's me, here's Danielle, and saying what I just... Oh, so now I swapped to the other person, and now I'm picking their dialogue options, it seems like? That's interesting. I said I don't blame you, didn't I, Bachelor? For any of it. Did you hear me? This does seem like we're trying to preempt what he's about to say, but it doesn't really work if he could just be like, I didn't say that. I said I don't blame you. Besides, you were in a state of extreme exhaustion. That was clearly what had to be done. It does seem a little reckless too. Even if he's fairly convinced that he doesn't have the plague and he can tell he doesn't have the plague, it does seem a little reckless to immediately hop on a train back to the capital. Besides, the ordinance from last year. What? Besides that ordinance from last year. What? Ordinances in, like, explosives? What does that mean? That's better. Tell me, if you'd be so kind, what causes your suspicious unease? I wouldn't assume a guilty conscience. Yeah, he does seem to be kind of cagey about this. I suppose we can't rule out a setup. Too many coincidences. That letter about Simon lures me to the town. No one shows me Simon. The whole place locks down, trapping me. And while I'm left to die, Thanatica is destroyed just before a scientific breakthrough. My final hours are spent studying the sand pest. Crafty, I must admit. Looking at you from the outside, what I see is a paranoid man, an egocentrical one at that. Yeah, it does seem like he's mad, but that would be quite the conspiracy to lure him to a random town and then, I don't know. I see a worn-out man, unsure whether he's still among the living. A man disassembled, trying to help you put yourself back together. Yeah, he does. I mean, he does just come across as paranoid. What do you want to know? What I could have done? All right. My first idea was quarantine. I needed time to study the disease, so I isolated patients in their homes. No, I isolated entire districts. I tried to get at least a day ahead of it. It was spreading too swiftly, and of course, I ensured no one could leave the town. Were you always aware of the consequences of your decisions? Ah, you refer to the popular discontent? I didn't need love from them, only discipline. A difficult surgery can't be performed on a resisting patient. That's why patients get tied up, held down, or anesthetized. Every step I took was justified, or the town wouldn't have lasted those 7 days. Oh, you're bragging a lot that, the town would have got wiped out in 4 days instead of 7. That's not that impressive, Danielle. You spent 12 days in the Gorkin area. Yeah, that is okay. It was 12. I have my file on the desk here. You familiarize yourself with it, correct? J, map of thoughts. Okay. Mind map. Important events happen every day. Select a day to recall what transpired. Day 1, day 2. The immortal man is dead. This whole stupid venture of mine turned out to be useless. So that's Simon Kane. He died on day 2, or we found out about on day 2. Day 3, plague in town. I've never seen such a disease before. This middle of nowhere town is doomed. They don't even have a hospital. Day 4, conspiracy. It's as if Simon Kane never existed. The powers that be lured me to this town. They knew what was approaching. They're using me. This does come across as paranoid. It's like just generically calling them the powers that be feels like somebody just kind of ranting and raving to themselves. That's what they were called in the last game, and I didn't really think about it that way. But now that we're viewing him from an outside perspective, almost, it does come across as him just ranting like, "They set me up." No more clues. Everyone who could know anything about Simon Kane's death, or if he even existed at all, is dead. So if I click on... Okay, so I'm not going to do that quite yet, but... Oh, wait. I don't know how to back out. But that is... Oh my gosh, there's so much. The polyhedron is closed. Okay, so there's so much on every single day, which makes sense, but like, it could spend forever just going through all this. But I don't know. Oh, okay, you can scroll in and out. Gotcha. All right, I'll probably return to these individual ones, but I want to read those like larger explanations. So this was no more clues. No one to count on. The Inquisitor's arrival hasn't saved the town. It has at last broken its spine. It's day 7. Day 9. The town is beheaded. No more rulers, no more heirs, and the inheritance will be gone any day now. The army is bringing cannons. The powers that be have already signed the death warrant. Is it your warrant, Dankovsky, or the whole town's? Eva Jan has taken her own life. Because of you, Dankovsky. Of course, it's because of you. Spasmi mortis. The town's agony nears its final rest. The plague smiles on its ruins. Day 12. Death is victorious. Bachelor Dankovsky has suffered a disgraceful defeat. If we equal a man to the work of his life, the town is dead. The immortal Simon Kane is dead. Interesting. Okay. We'll have to go through more of that as it becomes relevant.
Your talent doesn't have too many admirers. Everyone's against you. Tegla, Vilanovich, Voronin. Shall I continue?
Well, why are you looking at me like that? As if you're seeing this for the first time. As if this is the first time. It's not like I've rummaged through your papers. Okay, so we're seeing these scenes out of order, so for us, the player, it's the first time, but presumably it's not the first time for Danielle. I'm sorry, but what's written here is utter nonsense. This isn't how it happened at all. Facts lifted from their context, twisted into new ones. You know, the worst lie is a partial truth. He did gesture at this large cloud of interconnected dots and see, it happened just like this. No, you don't understand. I had to shove food in my mouth every 8 hours or I died, and everything was extremely expensive, and I had to trade bottles with the beggars to get cigarettes or what, however that worked, bullets. I think there's a lot going on. Can't blame me for this. All right, let's look at the 5th day. Remember when you had seemingly admitted the vaccine was possible? You had volunteers brought to you. You inoculated them with sandpest. Are you still with me, Dankovsky? Look me in the eye. Are you here? I am here, but I'm certainly not with you. Whose testimony do you even base this on? Who slanders my name? Yeah, it is like I was the only one there and everyone else died. At least most of the other people died, so I don't know how they get this information. Look at that trembling lip. Little sexual tension. Calm your nerves. The very reason you're sitting here is so that we may find the truth, isn't it? I mean, it definitely does matter where you're getting your information from. I won't be intimidated. I'm a doctor, a scientist. Do you hear me? I've come back from a hell the phantasms of a nightmare could never portray. I work there as a doctor, do you understand? A doctor, not an exterminator or inquisitor. Not a police inspector or army commander. I'm a medical professional. The number of people you've personally killed already puts you ahead of many in the army and police. Oh, this is kind of buttering him up. I do. It's interesting that we're switching back and forth between these people, but it does make it like hard to even know what headspace I should try and put myself in to decide which conversation element. Am I still sort of rooting for the Bachelor even though I'm not playing as him right now? Like, do I want to pick the option that's most advantageous for him in this scenario? I don't really know anything about this inspector because I'm just meeting him for the first time, so it's like I can't really put myself in his head and try and figure out what he's going for. I guess this is kind of buttering up the Bachelor a little bit. Enough with that tone. Don't you grow tired of it yourself? Put this on record. The backwater didn't have a hospital, understand? It did not have a hospital. But it did have a theater, so I repurposed it, somewhat, into a hospital. I studied patients there. Creating a vaccine was the priority. That's what I did. I vaccinated people. You did that? Every day? An hour ago, you said the vaccine is impossible. Well, I mean, maybe I will say that later in the game, but I haven't said that yet. And in the end, the town died out. Creating a vaccine isn't as simple as brewing a cup of tea. The disease mutated fast. The scientific community had never seen anything like it. I had to create a vaccine every day. Do you understand? A new one each time. All the while I had no equipment, no lab. I had to improvise new methods in a matter of minutes. I don't know. Like in this world, presumably he's doing real medicine. And has real information on how to create a vaccine, but like the concept of creating a new vaccine every day is just so funny. In the real world, obviously you couldn't hope to figure out what, like, even if you ignored all safety precautions or testing ethics or anything, like, still, what do you mean you had to create a new vaccine every day? That's so silly. So that I don't know if that's like the Bachelor is sort of egomaniacal, is like, I was able to solve it every day, or if it's like in the context of this world that actually was what he was doing. Hospital? You know what? I believe you, but I need more details, facts. A theater. Let's talk more about the 5th day after you arrived. Records from the 5th day state that out of 780 patients vaccinated, 412 died. Complete Act 1. Cool. Day 5. The Bachelor winds up people and has to rewind. Cool. I think I'm gonna pause it here for the first episode, and since we just finished up Act 1, and we'll continue on. So thanks for stopping by, and we'll keep playing through the Pathologic 3 demo. Appreciate it.